is the Lord. This is Psalm 24 and 1. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. And then, of course, we go into Mark 11:15 through 17, which is our focus verse, which you see scrolling at the bottom in our year here of the execution. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. But it reads like this, Mark 11, verse 15 through 17. And they came to Jerusalem. This is Jesus and his disciples, the apostles, and they entered the temple. He entered the temple and began to drive out those who sold, those who bought in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. And he would not allow anyone to carry anything through the temple. And he was teaching them, saying to them, is it not written, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations, but you have made it a den of robbers. King James Version says a den of thieves. But I want to use this devotional topic by way of heaven, business calls. This is my house. Business calls. It's still my house. And so as I was thinking about this particular topic on today, and you can put that in the chat somewhere, business calls. This is still my house. But I thought about a particular scene from a movie that I really like. It's entitled Almost Christmas, and it has some very large actors and actresses, very talented actors and actresses. And one of those actors is Danny Glover, whom I just absolutely love. And he's playing the recently widowed patriarch of this family. And all he wants to do, because he doesn't have his beloved anymore, who made Christmas so special every year, all he wants to do is just get his family together. And this consists of his 4 grown children and their families. And of course, Monique, who plays it so well as Auntie May. And so he's able to finally get all of them into the house, and he's just ecstatic. But somewhere along the way in the movie, that the youngest of the 4 children find out that their dad's going to sell their house. They can't believe this is where they've grown up. This is what they've seen. Good afternoon, Sister April. This is what they've seen all of their lives. This is where their memories have been shaped. And now that their mom's gone, they cannot conceive in any form or fashion of selling their childhood home. And so they begin to have a discussion right at the dinner table, and they're looking at the paperwork, and they're yelling and they're screaming and they're talking over each other, and they're asking their dad why. And in the midst of all of this conversation, all of this noise that's going on, their dad is sitting at the head of the table, just kind of leaned over, kind of like, okay, kind of letting them get it out. But he's saying these words, this is my house. He's saying it almost as a whisper, and then he says it in a normal voice while all the chaotic noise is going on. This is my house. And they still don't seemingly hear their father. And all of a sudden, with a voice that they probably haven't heard in a long time, he yells it at the top of his voice. This is my house. And there's silence. Everybody gives ear to what the dad is saying now, because this shout shuts the room down. They hear the authority, they hear the gravity in his voice, and they hear finally the ownership. This is where we are right now in this passage. And today I can't apologize. Mostly I give a lot of theology as I'm coming forth. You're going to get some of that. But most of all, you're going to hear in this one the bootleggery of it all. I know that's a made up word, but that's what it is. And so this text is telling us right now from God's perspective with what he's seen in the earth, which is why I had to read Psalm 24 and 1 and understand that this entire earth is the Lord's. The world is the Lord's. The contents of this world belong to the Lord. The people that are in the world belong to the Lord. That's what Psalm 24 says. And so God is looking at his earth. He's looking at his world. He's looking at his contents. He's looking at his creation. He's looking at his people. Everything belongs to him. And he's saying, what happened? Who is trying to take ownership of what I possess? I'm the possessor of heaven and earth. What is going on? And so he's saying, silence. This is my house. This is where we're going from it right now. It's the bootleggery of it all. And so the writer here, Mark, wants us to know as we get over into that 24th chapter of Mark, or the 11th chapter of Mark, the 15th and the 17th verse of Mark, as we get into that particular passage, Mark wants us to know some things. He wants us to know that Jesus understands it does not belong to the people that he's watching operate Sunday after Sunday, Saturday evening after Saturday evening, Tuesday night after Tuesday night, and Wednesday night after Wednesday. It's not really their house, but it's looking like they're walking around as if it belongs to them. And this is where Mark highlights. Mark gets the live at 5 version of what Jesus does. And so he breaks it down to us in action form. And I love this particular passage, which is why I shared in some gospels, but this is one that I really love. Mark is really John Mark. He's the young man who is Apostle Peter's interpreter. He is the one that has interpreted this gospel from the Apostle Peter's perspective, from his experiences, from his journey with Christ. So this is really another book of Peter, but Mark himself is penning it. So it bears his name on it, but it's coming from the perspective of the Apostle Peter, because Mark was not one of the original 12. He's just writing the book. So here's your theology, I guess, if you will. There it is. So he recounts the apostles' journey with Jesus in this fast-paced action account we see in the Gospel of Mark. Like most young people, he's not wasting words. He's not twisting words. He's saying what he said, and he's said what he said. So he's not wasting any words. He's simply telling us what happened, that I see bootleg going on in the temple. Well, that's the 21st version of what he's saying. But that's what he's saying. And so what happens is Jesus starts taking care of business. What he's saying now is that if you're going to run your business, I'm going to show you who this business really belongs to. I'm going to handle business. And Jesus starts whooping folks out of the temple. I know, say it ain't so. Clutch your pearls right now. I know it's a mess going on. I'm sure it was all over town. It was not just a live at 5 version. They came in at top of news 10 again. They were telling this story everywhere that Jesus whooped folks out of the temple. That is Mary and Joseph's boy. That is the carpenter's son. That is the one that's going around preaching sermons. That is the one that's giving prophetic words. That's the one that's doing miracles. That's the one that I thought he was saved. I thought he was just filled with something, but he's down there beating the people out of the church. I thought you wanted them to come to church. I thought you wanted them to sit on the pews. I thought you wanted them to fill the house. But here it is that you are beating folks out of the temple. I'm glad y'all getting this 21st century version, because I got to tell you, this is good to my soul. He starts beating folks. He gives them a beat down, y'all. It's not just any type of whooping. He gives them a beat down. He beats them down until he not only beats them out, but he beats all of their contents out of the house. All of their inventory has to go. All of their stocks and goods it's got to go too. He beats all of that out of the house. He beats them until he starts turning over tables. Yes, he does, because it looks like the tables are oversized and they're just taking up room right now. He beats them until he starts turning over chairs. Ain't nobody sitting down today. Everybody getting up out of here. He starts beating them, y'all, until he gets everything that he needs out of the temple. These are the money changers. That's what the word says here right now. That's who they were. They were exchanging goods. They were making money. They were selling their pigeons and all of those things going on. They had a full business going on inside the temple. And Jesus said, now it's time for my kind of business. This is my kind of carrying on. This is what I do. I'm going to get you up out of here. And the reason you got to go is not just because I'm having another fit. It's not just because I'm angry. I'm real mad right now, but that's not really the reason. The reason is because it is written, and you know it's written, that my house, that is what God is saying. God is saying it's my house. This is my house. And I said that my house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations. I love the fact that he says all nations, because sometimes we try to isolate it to just us as the believers, just us as the Christians. And I know I'm going to mess with some folks' theology right about now, but the book says all nations. That means everybody gets to come. You may be Jew, you may be Protestant, you may be Catholic, you may be I don't know, you may be I don't care, you may be one of those that says he ain't never really existed, but I guess I'll try something now. Whoever you are free to come to the house of prayer because it belongs to God himself. Do I have a witness here with somebody? Just say it belongs to God. It belongs to God. And so they don't get to put you out, and they don't get to put me out, and they don't get to stop you, and they don't get to stop me. They have to understand it does not belong to you. It is a house of prayer where people come in and they begin to communicate with the Father, and the Father begins to communicate with them. There is your theology. Thank you so much, Deacon Signer, for that. We have a place where we can talk to him. I wish somebody was here right now. We have a place now where we can get a call through. That's a good thing. We always say that he's on the main line. Call him up. But more importantly, it's a place where God can get a call through to his people. And see, that's the part that we're missing right now. There was so much going on in the temple that, yes, people were crying out to God. Yes, people were still on their knees. Yes, they were bypassing the tables. Yes, they were overlooking the pigeon dung that they were having to step through and step across. Yes, they were overlooking the money changers. They were still crying out to God. They were still calling on him. They were still trusting that he was going to meet his people in the assigned place. But what was happening here was an interruption now of God calling down to his people. And good God, that is the problem right now, is that there are interceptions. There are interruptions in God's call to his people. It's not that God's people are not calling up to him. Yeah, we're praying right now. We're calling out to him. We're pleading with him in some cases. We're lying down and we're travailing in the spirit. We're fasting until our mouths are pasty white. Some of us are looking thin right now. We're doing all of those things, and it seems like we can't get a word through from heaven. And what is happening right now is God says that there are things intercepting the signal of heaven down to my people, and that's got to stop. And this is where Jesus comes in. He says, because now what you've done is make my Father's house. Now what you've done is make the God that I love and the God that I showed up in human form as, that God, you have made his house no longer a house of prayer, but it has become a den of robbers. You're robbing people of the signal, the ability to be able to hear from God in the very house that he created them to hear from. Yes, he says, I got a problem with you, and I may as well beat it out of you while I am here. I want you to get back to original intent. And that's one of my phrases for the year, original intent. What is the house created for? It's created to be a house of prayer. Last time I checked, prayer is a dialogue. It is not a monologue. It is not where we go out and just have a conversation all by ourselves. No, we're waiting for an answer from God. We're waiting on a response from God. We're waiting on a word from God. At times we show up, we don't have to even initiate the conversation. The conversation has already begun, and we've gotten in on it. Thanks be to the angels of God and the Holy Spirit who's speaking to our hearts. But God says I can't even initiate a good conversation in my own house because of all of the disruptions, all of the interruptions, all of the interference, all of the downright foolishness sitting at the tables and taking up chair space. He says, I've had enough of it. And so Jesus starts taking care of business in the temple, one whip at a time, one lash at a time, until everything is is cleared out, and he's giving TCB, taking care of business, a whole new spin. It's a beat down, y'all. It's a beat down, not because they were doing business just necessarily in the house. It wasn't that type of beat down. It wasn't a beat down just because they were doing kingdom business inefficiently, maybe, and incompletely. No, that's not the reason for it. It wasn't because the tables were too large, the chairs were in the way. No, it comes down to just a few things, and let me hand them to you. The first thing is that they forgot who owned the house. You see, when I was growing up, my parents were key about letting me know who ran the house, and it wasn't the little girl that they had given birth to. No, they loved her and they doted on her, but you don't run this. Your name is not on any bills. You haven't paid the cost to be the boss right here. And so God is telling us right now, I paid a cost to be the boss. I gave you my very own son, and I sent him for a world that I love. No, not for the church. I sent him for the world. That's why all nations can come into my house. But I sent him to the world because I loved them like that. I sent my only son to die for them. So I have paid a cost through his blood to own this thing. How dare you show up and act like your name is on the note? How dare you show up and act like your name is on the title deed? How dare you show up and act like you have a signed promissory note with your name on it as if you paid for it in full? Sit yourself down, or I don't mind getting you out of the temple. The second thing he wants us to know is that they forgot the owner's reason for the house. The house was a house of prayer. It was not to be a house of thieves, a den of thieves. It is a house of prayer. That means it has an abode for prayer. It resides only for prayer. It resides where God can convene with his people, meet with his people, have summits with his people, have conferences with his people, congregate with his people, give divine intel to his people. It's designed for that, that when I can't get a word through or from heaven anywhere else, I ought to be able to go to the house of God and hear a word from on high that's going to take me to my next level, take me to my next promotion, cause me to increase, cause me to have favor. Good God, ain't got nobody in this house with me, but that's okay. I preached to myself because I was sick last week, but I had a word from heaven that healed my body, healed me from the inside to the outside, and I'm sitting here today. Maybe the voice is not back as strong as it is, but baby, I've got one right now, whereas last week I didn't have one. And so he's telling us we ought to be able to get a word. Don't forget the reason for the house on today. Somebody put that in the chat. Say, I didn't forget the reason for the house of God. It's so I can meet there with him, so I can hear from him, so I can receive from him, so I can grow through him, so I can be developed through him, so I can be cultivated through his word, so I can show up as a frontliner Christian, so I can show up then as a child of God. See, that's a reason for the house. And the last thing he tells us right now, a few minutes here, we're going to lay this thing out, is that they forgot the house rules. Oh, my mama was clear about house rules. She didn't have very many of them. In fact, she was so clear about them that at her eulogy, I delivered what the house rules were. That was her eulogy, house rules. And she had a house rule that reminded me that if I ever forgot who was running it, she brought me in this world, and she didn't mind taking me out of this world. And see, that's what the Lord is letting us know right now, that I brought you in here for a reason. And if you act like you don't know what that reason is, I can get you out of here. So he was reminding them that this house has rules, that this house has rules, that you ought to be able to answer a call from heaven. You ought to be able to answer and hear from heaven in this house. It has rules. Answer any call that you like, but never forget to answer the call that will be greater than any call that you have on your life. And that is the call of God on your life. What did God put you here for? What is your purpose? What is your reason for being here? It's a reason that's greater than any other reason that you have here. And we've got some mothers on the line. Some of them know that their purpose for being here was to be a mother, and they're mothers like none other. Some of your reasons are to be a sister, and you're a sister like none other. Some of your reasons to be here is to be a brother that folks could lean on. And then some of us are called in to put those clergy collars on. I know you don't feel like it. You you might not even want to, but God called you to that thing. Whatever it is that he called you to, I ought to be able to hear the call of God in this house. So this will take it off because it's getting hot in this place. Let me explain something to you. The reason I'm so serious about this is that I received a call in the house of God, my call, many years ago out of Ephesians 4. The preacher was preaching on that thing every Wednesday night, and I could not understand why, as a 20-year-old woman, I was wanting to get to the house of God every Wednesday night. I didn't want to stop over at McDonald's with my friends and just eat French fries and laugh. I didn't want to meet with my girls just to holler at them and see what they were doing. I was getting off that job and I was making track to the house of God, because in that sermon, in that passage, in that teaching was a call of God on my life. And the man of God delivered it so well that not even he believed it when I told him that I had a call from the very passage he had been teaching. You see, in that house, I received my call of God. And God says what's happening to his people is that they no longer can hear the call of God. They no longer can hear the purpose of God. They no longer can hear their reason for being here on the earth. They're coming to church confused, and they're leaving more confused than when they showed up. They don't have any understanding of what they're supposed to do in this earth realm. And God says it's because we're intercepting his call. We're interfering with his call. We're disrupting his call. We're interrupting his call with foolishness in this house. And I said, God, what are you talking about? He said, well, what business call has deterred you away from the call of God lately? And he said, just check your phone. Y'all, I began to check my phone, and here they are. The first thing he said to me is, I keep getting a busy call when I call my people. Yeah, I'm getting a busy call. What is that? I see that you're operating. I see that you're moving. I see some of y'all asleep. I see some of y'all reading your text messages in church. You can't tell me you're busy. I can see what you're doing. Why are you not getting my call? What's interrupting that call? Is it foolishness interrupting that call? Is it friends with benefits interrupting that call? Why am I getting a busy signal from the house of God? Then he told me sometimes it's just a missed call. You see that it's me and you turn away as if you didn't see my name at the opening of that call, because y'all got those smartphones. I know I put one in you on the inside. That's how they're able to develop these things on the outside, because I put some things on the inside. So you know it's me, God, calling you. You know it's me, God, waking you up in the midnight hour. You know it's me sitting in the car on your way to work. You know it's nobody but me that's been doing this. And yet I'm getting missed calls showing up in heaven. He said, sometimes you're treating me as a spam call. I hope I'm talking to somebody right now as if I'm inconsequential, as if I don't matter, as if I'm just calling with something that doesn't have anything to do with you. No, I ain't no spam call, but y'all, this is the last one that got me. He said, sometimes you treat me as just a simple voice call. You can just send me the voicemail. Yeah, I know it's you, but I'll just get the message a little bit later. And when you look at your phone is filled up with 97% space, which means that you've just got messages sitting in there that you've never deleted, you've never done anything with, you've never responded to them, you've never answered them, you've never seen what they contained at all. And so you're leaving Sunday after Sunday confused because you sent me to voicemail. What does that mean when your voicemail is filled up 97%? You've only got 3% availability. And that means that right about now, let me tell you this, you've got 3% of grace waiting on you. You've got 3% of mercy still waiting on you. You still got 3% of favor still waiting on you. You better download those things from that voicemail. Fill your inner man and inner woman up from the inside out. Answer the call of God in God's house, because we are God's people, as we often say in our motto, walking by faith. That's who we are. And we're going to shout the victory right now is what we're going to do, and say, God, I answered the call. God, I heard you when you said my name. God, I'm showing up on the front line. God, I won't send you the voicemail anymore. God, I won't be too busy for you. God, I won't miss your calls. And God, I will never treat you as spam, inconsequential. This is your word for today. This business call is still God's house. God bless y'all here on today. Thank y'all so much. The anointing is pouring over here because I am pouring. I am one. I told y'all I don't get hot flashes. So we already know what this one is. So thank y'all so much for being here on today. I love to play your messages back. Go back and hear this word. Go back and read this passage. Yeah, there's my sister. I see you there, Sister April. God bless you here on today. Oh my goodness. Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all so much for letting me talk a little bit about the bootleggery. Thank you, my sister. Yeah, Prophetess Apostle Ware over there. God bless you here on today. I'm telling you, God is serious about getting his call through in his house. We're making it just a business center for what we want. No, he's got a call center. He doesn't mind us doing business. He doesn't mind us conducting business. If he minded that, he would have taken out Matthew 25. So that tells me he doesn't mind us doing business. He would have told Jesus, don't talk about the business of my Father. He would have told him that. So we know from those passages, he does not mind us doing business. He has a problem when our business interferes with his. He got a problem with that one. I see you there, my sister in love. Monica, good to see you. Yes, my child of God. Come on here. Come on here, sis. That's good news right there. Yes, indeed. I see you, Deacon Signer. I didn't forget the reason. That's all he asking. That's all he asking there, Deep. That's all he asking. Don't forget. Don't forget the house has a purpose. Don't forget about that. Yeah, don't forget about it. Who it belongs to. Don't get it twisted, is what he's saying. Because if we ever get the house of God right, we don't have to worry about what the world is doing. The world will get right too, because the house is right, and we're going to take whatever's in the house to the outside. So we don't have to worry about that. I see you, my cousin there. Good afternoon to you. God bless you, Sister Mary over there. Cousin Mary, God bless y'all. Yes, indeed. I just wanted to play these back. Thank you so much for your prayers on today. And of course, last week, as we were continuing to heal on today. I see you there. Apostle Paula is still over there in her world, y'all. She's still in the zone. God bless you, my sister. God bless you on today. I tell you, it is a reason to look at this passage and see who has ownership, who has the title deed. It is not us. Okay, it's not us. We are grafted in and we are heirs. And so we can enjoy all that he owns because we are a part of his heritage, his inheritance through Jesus. We get to enjoy it, but don't get it twisted. House rules. Remember the reason. All right, y'all. I'm out of here today. This has been Dr. Sheri with TouchTone Tuesday, where we get in touch with the tone of God's word. On today, it's always my pleasure to bring to you the word alive. And I gotta tell you, I'm really enjoying this one. Enjoy a little bit of Black History Month. And for those of us who have the lineage, just stop by and look at the mirror and say, thank God for the ancestors and what you allowed them to do for us to sit in these places. Thank y'all. Y'all take care. Love y'all to life. Have a great Tuesday. Take care.